Post Takeover fashion, we have a very quick, simple, and to-the-point episode of NXT to talk about.
Absolutely.
These are matches that were recorded prior to the Takeover event on Saturday, with a little bit of backstage interviews, post-matches, from all the things that did happen at NXT Takeover. Still no Lucha Underground this week. They'll be returning next week. It's coming back, people. Next week, Lucha Underground is back, but one more week of just NXT, where we opened up with Aleister Black taking on Curt Hawkins.
Yeah.
Curt Hawkins was in town, being jobbery as ever. I mean, making stars in his star factory.
The Curt Hawkins Star Factory, get it right.
These two did have a match a couple weeks ago on Main Event. I actually watched it on YouTube. It's actually pretty good. This one was still pretty good.
Yeah.
Even though it was still more so Aleister Black dominating like he does.
Uh-huh.
And Curt Hawkins losing
like he does. Making stars, you mean?
Yes, making stars like he does. The crowd was very much behind Aleister Black, as anytime Hawkins seemed to get any type of offense, it was very audible boos towards Curt Hawkins.
Well, I feel like potentially, not to compare it to like the whole invasion storyline, but I could get the sense of like potentially you're going to an NXT show and a guy from Raw or SmackDown shows up.
Okay.
It's kind of like you're encroaching on that territory. Like, we didn't pay to see Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
We paid to watch NXT. And here's a Raw guy showing up all of a sudden.
I didn't actually think about it that way. I kind of hope that's why. It's very much a this is our thing. Keep your stuff out of it.
Keep crappy Raw out of our NXT.
Then again, people didn't really bother too much when Seth Rollins came out.
No, that was a hype as fuck storyline. So
that's true, and this is just
and Seth Rollins started in NXT.
That's true.
Curt Hawkins started on WWE ECW.
Did he start there?
As the Major Brothers.
Wow.
That's where the Major Brothers started.
Holy shit.
Feuding with Trent Beretta and Kalen Croft.
The Dude Busters. Fucking flashbacks right now.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Curt Hawkins did end up losing to Black Mass from Aleister Black as per usual. I'm loving that Aleister Black just seems to be more and more comfortable in the NXT surroundings every single week. It's fun to watch. Then we had our first couple of backstage things. We had Ember Moon prior to NXT TakeOver, kind of reflecting on the fact that Chicago was very big. It was kind of her big break in the Indies, and this was supposed to be a moment where she was going to be able to take away Asuka's championship and finally defeat the Empress. But unfortunately, she's stuck with a shoulder injury, and so she's like, as much as I'd like to see Asuka lose to Ruby or Nikki Cross, I'm also very selfish and I want her to retain because I want to be the one to take the title off of her.
Damn straight.
So, Ember is still very much focused on being the one who defeats Asuka for the very first time.
Yeah, and it'll happen exactly at whatever the takeover is before SummerSlam.
Just in time for Asuka to go to the main roster somewhere after.
Right after SummerSlam.
Yeah. Speaking of Asuka, the title is hers.
Yeah. Nobody can stand toe-to-toe with her.
This is mine. She walked away. Very simple. Asuka's proud of herself because she's still the NXT Women's Champion. She still hasn't lost. It's insane. And Roddy says once again that the reason he fought so hard against Eric Young and the rest of Sanity is because they decided to bring his family into the mix. And once you do that, you've stepped over a line, and Roddy's gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah.
So Roddy did just that and defeated Eric Young. Then we had the official debut of the Velveteen Dream as he took on a guy named Robert Anthony. From Patrick Clark to the Velveteen Dream, it is a stark contrast to the man we saw on Tough Enough.
Yeah. Even when he made his NXT debut wearing those American flag pattern tights.
Yeah, with the bald eagle on the back. Yeah, no, it is a much different man who is now walking through NXT. still fantastic in the ring. He has taken to this gimmick like a fish to water, and he is making it fucking work.
Yeah.
Robert Anthony was a jobber, so he didn't do a whole lot.
Except for get hit.
Yes.
He got hit a lot.
And I love that he's not even Patrick Clark anymore. He is just Velveteen Dream. That is his wrestling name. That's what he's going by.
And he won with a giant top rope elbow drop. From here on forward, I will be calling the Chocolate Rain.
And I'm cool with that.
And until I hear otherwise.
Yeah. He had like a very like deliberate like he just like made the guy think about it as he dropped him with a sit out neck breaker.
Like the Rude Awakening.
Yeah, and
which I'm going to call the Rude Awakening.
All right.
Because that was the name of the move when Rick Rude did it.
All right. So the Rude Awakening into the Chocolate Rain elbow drop, and the Velveteen Dream wins his debut match on NXT.
Good job, guy.
And we also had Pete Dunne talking about how ever since losing in the UK tournament back in January, he's watched Tyler Bate walk around with the championship that is so rightfully his, and now that he finally has it, everything is his.
Yeah. Here you go, Pete Dunne. Have a YouTube show.
I mean, if you'd like to come on, this could be your YouTube show where we just co-star next to you.
You can have it. I won't fight you for it.
I mean, I don't want to fight him for it. I'm just saying.
Like, I don't want that would hurt to fight Pete Dunne for anything.
It's... Alright, it's yours. We had Bobby Roode talking about NXT staying his NXT and continuing to be glorious. And we are also going to get a glorious celebration next week.
I'm excited.
As we return to Full Sail, and Bobby Roode moves on as the NXT champion. One thing that we may have potentially skipped over, but was kind of making the rounds on YouTube, is Hideo's reaction to losing to Bobby Roode. Kind of
posted on Facebook right after Takeover ended.
Yeah, he walked to the back and...
Or not even right after Takeover ended, it was right after the match ended.
Yeah.
Which I noted while we were watching Takeover, like I noted that segment happening, because I remember talking about the fact that right after that segment happened, or right before that segment happened, is when Cassius Ohno was spotted in the crowd with Sami Zayn and Pat Patterson.
Oh,
and
right.
I made the mention when we were talking about it is that either he had to like run really fast and do that segment, before then, or they had to wait until like the whole Takeover was over and then do the segment
and then recreate it.
Yeah, and then like have Hideo like still in his gear and like probably all sweaty and gross feeling.
Yeah, and just had to walk around for a couple hours
and then pretend that he just lost.
Yeah. Essentially he went back, just kind of tore up a locker room, and everyone's trying to calm him down, and Cassius happened to be one of the people that was doing it, and they got into a little bit of a shoving match, and we're probably going to be getting some Hideo versus Ohno matches here.
Which I'm okay with.
They're going to beat the shit out of each other. And speaking of beating the shit out of someone, Drew McIntyre took on Wesley Blake in our main event.
Wesley Blake.
After Wesley Blake decided to get involved in a backstage segment of Drew's, and he's just... You're stupid, Wesley.
You got a kid to think about, man.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking about the kid. He was thinking about his own damn ego. He did have a couple of really great moments against Drew. He did kind of a flying armbar, which initially put some wear and tear on the arm, which became a sort of weak spot for Drew. But I mean, I think the problem that Wesley had is every time he would do one move to the arm, he would immediately like make distance between the two and try and do something different rather than staying on the arm.
Yeah. The other issue with Wesley Blake working on Drew Galloway's arm is he's still got like 4 other appendages he can damage you with.
Yeah, one of which was his head, which he knocked Wesley Blake the fuck out with, and then immediately followed that with his Claymore kick, which ended the match.
Yeah.
I mean, did you expect it to go any other way? If you did, you're probably a Wesley Blake fan.
There's Wesley Blake fans?
They're leftover Blake and Murphy fans.
Well, all those guys are Murphy fans.
They're just Murphy fans. I'm a Murphy fan.
Which, by the way, how come Buddy Murphy isn't on TV yet?
Because he's working on his gimmick. He's putting it together, and then he'll be on TV.
His gimmick's fine. He's the best kept secret of NXT.
Well, you just told everyone it's not a secret anymore. If he was on TV, everybody would know, and it wouldn't be a secret.
Well, that's his gimmick.
You just ruined it.
It's all over his Instagram.
Now he can't be on TV because it's not a secret anymore.
It's all over his Instagram.
Yeah, that's not TV though.
And so is his shooting star press, which is amazing. Get Buddy Murphy on TV. He's better than Wesley Blake.
And he has Alexa Bliss, so.
Yeah, both those guys scored some hot ladies.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah's nice, but I'd much rather go with Alexa.
Yeah.
Just saying. That is it for NXT. One other quick mention that we didn't say it on Raw or on SmackDown, but we found out the name of the women's tournament that's going to be happening later this summer, and is the Mae Young Classic. So they're still rounding out who's going to be in that tournament. It's supposed to take place somewhere mid-July. I believe it's July 16th is when it'll start, and it'll be very much like the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah.
So very much looking forward to that, and from what I've heard, commentary is going to be Corey Graves and JR. So that should be fun to listen to as well.
Yeah.
Two very well educated guys talking about ladies wrestling. So yeah, and then next week we have the return of Lucha Underground. I'm thinking about doing kind of a recap video, just kind of see where we're at currently with certain characters.
It'll be hard. It'll be hard to tell because a big thing about during the break is the landscape has changed.
Yeah.
In regards to what wrestlers are still and or no longer affiliated with AAA.
Yeah, and I kind of made mention about this a few weeks ago when we got the official return date of Lucha Underground, is that there's a potential. The reason they took such a long break is they had to do reshoots because Phoenix, Daga, and Pentagon Jr. all left AAA.
Yeah.
And the fact that Phoenix and Pentagon were very big staples on TV on a regular basis. If I'm not mistaken, Phoenix was still one of the trio's champions. Along with Aerostar and Drago. And Pentagon had just done the Pentagon Dark, was doing the whole thing with Lotus and the Lotus Tribe. There might have been a lot of things they had to change.
Probably.
So I think the biggest things that will kind of keep similar is going to be Cage has his gauntlet now, and then we're still going to be having the undercover issues with Officer Reyes and Joey Ryan.
Yeah, so, and Johnny Mundo as the champion.
And Johnny Mundo as champion, potentially still feuding with Sexy Star, along with the rest of the Worldwide Underground. So, yeah, lots of things to take into consideration. So, gonna kind of dance around, see what kind of things are potential continuations for the rest of Season 3 of Lucha Underground. But for now, guys, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Click the links down in the description.
There's a lot of links.
Check out the podcast.
That's a link.
And you can check out Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
That's Reasonable the W.
Like Wrestling, where a punishment video of him eating a potentially very nasty pizza is coming out very soon, along with other backlog punishments and some other videos as soon as we're able to get some recording time happening.
Keep your fingers crossed I picked good ingredients.
Said bad juju.
No, I like good juju.
But for now, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Fuck bad juju.
Fuck Wesley.
Yeah, alright.